Hello, 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 hello. Good night if you're on the East Coast or beyond. If you are on the West Coast, still good night, even though it's more like 7 p.m. So it's like good evening ish. But so there's a book I'm reading. I was recommended to read by a colleague. I'm still in the midst of reading it, and it's a book called Stockhausen Serves Imperialism by Cornelius Cardew. And as a musician myself, a performing musician, I and who's also starting to become more politically awakened and whatnot, I had I felt more compelled to read this book. And I just could not help but agree. I just could not help but agree with the book. With what Cornelius Cardew was saying in this book. And I what the book basically, I mean, I'll do my best to explain to the best of my abilities of what the book is about. Basically is it is saying by fact, it is saying by the title, it criticizes John Cage and Carl Heisen Carl Stockhausen of serving imperialism. And basically it's about through his viewpoint. It basically is about through Cornelius Cardew's viewpoint as a Marxist-Leninist musician, who he criticizes John Cage and Stockhausen as serving imperialism. And he brings up he's not only right, but he brings up a very, very good point in that as a musician, if you're going, music history is also political history very well. There's no way to detach music from politics unless you just want to be willfully ignorant and just ignore things that are just going on. That is impossible. It is impossible to just be like, yeah, I'm going to create art for art's sake. Anything you do for art, art is a reflection of not just any subconscious, art is a reflection of you as a person, your who you are, your your consciousness, your surroundings, everything, the time frame that you are in. And to simply say that, oh, we're just going to ignore things around you just to be willfully ignorant on about art in general, it's nonsense. And the best way I could describe, I'll put it like this. Cornelius Cardew, and one section I want to talk about more so is his criticisms of John Cage. and why I was so I was so drawn to this particular part, because he made a point in that John Cage's music, if you listen to it, or if you ever listen to it at all, however you could listen to it, it seems like it's just like randomness. It feels just very random for the most part. Now, his earlier stuff, you could say, well, it's doesn't feel like it's random. It feels like there is some substantive stuff, but there's some more substantive stuff in his music. But there's a quote, actually, if I could find it, of what he talks about. I know there. Where's that quote? Right here. Actually, there's two quotes in which he referenced what Cornelius Cardew referenced what John Cage said. Difference between pennilessness now and penniless then. Now we've got unquestioned credit. Who's we? John Cage and the Queen of England. And right there, and I'm gonna reference this where Cornelius Cardew says, he says, it sounds as though Cage would say, anyone can survive today provided they play the system, never mind how corrupt. I want to, and then I'm gonna go to another quote that he had, and this is another John Cage quote. We are as free as birds. Only the birds aren't free. We are as committed as birds, and identically. And it's just like, whoa, what does he mean by that? And then Cornelius Cardew makes a good point of what he said here. And he said, artists are on the same level as partridges on a game preserve. And it's just like, what? And he said, we are as free as birds. Only the birds aren't free. We are as committed as birds, and identically. So basically, it was at one point in John, especially in that first quote, John Cage got to the point where everything that I did, that I worked hard for, I don't have to work hard for. I'm accepted. I get to coast and do what master tells me to. And I get paid. I game the system. And effectively, you could say that he kind of is gaming the system, and he served empire. And he ain't the only, he wasn't the only one because he's gone now, but I can make a case for a bunch of artists who we all know. It's just like, that ain't, what's up? That ain't you. That ain't you. That ain't you. And yeah, and he said, and basically, you can make the case that it wasn't just John Cage and Stockhausen who served imperialism. Hell, I know artists. We all know artists who serve imperialism. I mean, Jay-Z. Um, yeah, Jay-Z, Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga. Like, who are you trying to fool? Like, if you have an audience, a good sizable chunk of your audience that would tell you, hey, we want you to not be a rabid Zionist, but yet you will still show love for Israel at the behest of your record label. That's in contradiction to your audience, who's mainly working class, that does not like Israel. Prime example right there. You serving imperialism. Or Jay-Z in general being like the gatekeeper of black Hollywood. Right then and there as well. And especially if you listen to, even though he can come across at times as a lyricist, if you listen closely to his music, I'm like, so you're just talking about how you are the most flashiest person over and over, and you've learned how to move with a line of vicious crooks to get to basically get more skin in the game. And not just that, I would make a case right now, even DJ Khaled. But of course, who does he serve? Let's think about that. Every single artist I've named, and definitely more, serves imperialism. Because if they didn't, um, A, they'd be more vocal about what's going on in current events around the world, especially DJ Khaled. Especially DJ Khaled. But he's rather quiet. And he's been put on full blast, especially by the likes of Dave Chappelle, who told him, like, hey man, you Palestinian and there's a genocide going on. And you rather shh. But look at who he serves. Because if you weren't, like, especially like artists I know of, I mean, obviously Marvin Gaye, believe it or not, his own What's Going On album, the landmark album, was a shift from what the stuff he made prior to. All good music, don't get me wrong. But this particular album was also another shift that he took a chance on, because he felt that the need. He felt the need to give voice and use his platform to give voice to the political consciousness and the state of things going on during his time. And he started to set the stage for what was to come for other artists, especially from the Motown label, and take control. Like Stevie Wonder, who followed shortly right after. But yeah. And it's not just so much that they're doing it because of who they serve. It's more so the fact that, how do I explain this? You are our artist. and you are going to make money off of us, but you're going to do it in a way that aligns with what we want you to put out there, because it has to align with who we are and what we believe in. Now, you're talking about a capitalist system that does not serve the needs of the people and lies to the people. You're talking about not just capitalists, you're talking about serving the interests of the bourgeois class, not the proletariat class. There's contradiction right there. You're talking about, oh, this music's supposed to feel good, and it'll make you feel good. But it's not serving the needs of the people, particularly. And you're also not telling the truth. Well, you are telling the truth, but you're not telling the truth about what the people need. And especially one thing that really resonated with me in that book is that how if you criticize other artists who are well-named composer, who are like hit makers, composers, performers, and the like, if you dare criticize them for legitimate reasons, oh, they're serving imperialist reasons, they're gatekeepers, yada yada, the whole 9 yards, and you say their music serves that because their music is a reflection of that. Like, again, John Cage, whose music is just randomness. It's like the oral version of Jackson Pollock. It's just random dick splatter painting for nothing, for the sake of nothing. Confusion. Art just vomited for no fucking reason. That's all it is. Devoid of any thought of anything legitimate. And if you say that serves no reason at all, and you're just calling it out, and you have legitimate other thoughts, and you say that this guy serves as a gatekeeper, he serves to drive the message of the bourgeois class, he ain't there for us, yada yada, and you give more other critiques, and then people coming after you say, who the fuck are you? You are trash, yada yada, but they're not coming after, they don't critique your critique. They don't say you're wrong or you're right, they just come after you. It's real interesting. And if you want to have a discussion about it, they'd be like, oh, he's irrelevant. There's nothing to much ado about nothing. She's irrelevant, they're irrelevant. There's much ado about nothing. It's too hard. Why? Yeah, why we gotta do this, that, and the fourth? But you want to avoid this discussion because it's very relevant. It is very relevant. For example, if you dare talk about Taylor Swift, or Queen Bee, how dare you, even if the criticisms are legit about what they do, and you say, who did she actually serve? Who do they actually serve? Who are you to talk about that? That they're imperialist and whatnot. Who are you to talk about that? They'll come after you, but they won't come after what you said. They won't refute what you said. They'll just come after you. Smear campaign. Boom. But they'll never refute, and they'll put you down. Just go like this. Because they don't want to deal with what you said is most likely true, and it's relevant. they must smear you, sideline you, and say, you are crazy, you're stupid, you have no idea what you're talking about. Let's move on from this guy, whoever they are. Let's move on. Cuckoo. Or if not, they'll just outright smear you. So yeah, I'm still reading that book, and it really got to me. And how if you're going to do music and really be in touch with what's going on, you can't avoid it. You just cannot avoid it, especially if you want to get involved with what is going on politically, be engaged. You can't avoid it. It is unavoidable. And you're going to run into this more and more. That's all I have to say for now. I just wanted to give my current thoughts on the book. And yeah, have a good one. Good night. Stay cool.